You should be able to have a musical life without worrying about the fact that somebody else can play twice as fast as you or is twice as brilliant as you. It's not about that. It's about whatever is in here, the message you have inside and getting it out. And that might be very, very simple. So don't be afraid to be simple.
Hello everybody out there, welcome back to another edition of Threshold and Attack. Today our guest is Mr. Tim Pierce. How is the job?
Well, I love my job, and I'm changing from one job to another one. I was a studio musician for 35 years here in LA, and it was incredible, and it's still great. I still do it, but I've switched into a online education website for guitar players and all the social media that goes with that. So I'm constantly filming now. Before I was playing for people in sessions, and now I'm still doing that, but on a lot of days now I make videos. My primary product now is my membership site. So when a guitar player wants training, they can either buy into my membership site by the month or by the year. I encourage them to go by the year because it's much less expensive. And right now there's about 70 hours and over 800 videos. I add to it every month, so the later the customer buys in, the more they get. And then hopefully at the end of a year, I've added so much that it's a value and they want to re-up and stay on. And that's the idea. It's training. And in order to find these people, I spent a lot of time on YouTube with free content and now Instagram with free content. So the monetized part of the website is for those few people who like what I do and like what I offer for free, and they want more. The reason I made this change is that the music business was huge, and I was a part of this giant thing that was happening. And the music business actually created a huge infrastructure for studio musicians, people to play parts on records and films and television and commercials. I was part of that for a long time. That has changed, and there's not so much of that now. Even for the young people coming up, their opportunities are smaller than they used to be. That's fine. So what I decided to do, I saw some people 7 years ago, but way before I monetized, who were teaching online at a very high level and who had big businesses teaching online. And the benefit about this is rather than a service that I provide for clients, it's a product that I sell to customers. So this is something that I can scale infinitely. My last career, I had to be there for every hour of the work. I had to actually be there to do it. This is something that I can sell whether I'm talking to you or I'm on vacation or I'm sleeping. And that's the benefit of it. It's a product that can reach customers. I work at it 7 days a week. I steal a little time on Saturday and Sundays to keep it, because I'm self-employed, I work all the time. But I don't have to be there for the product to sell. The other great thing about this, my last career, and it's a career that I still do, like I said, I'm not giving it up, but I'm sharing it now with the new career. My last career, I was behind the scenes. Anyway, the other great thing about this is I get to be an artist and I get to step out in front. And I was at the NAMM show last week and I passed a family and a 7-year-old boy, I think he was probably about 7. He saw me and his eyes lit up and he started smiling. He said, "Hi, Tim." That never would have happened to me before because I was behind the scenes. I was working behind the artists. And for me to be able to actually be up front, that's a really nice thing. It makes me feel like an artist. And I get to make my own music now. It's kind of ironic that at this point, at my age, I actually get to step out front and be an artist. It's nice. YouTube has great analytics when you're a creator. And my audience is basically the English-speaking countries primarily. That makes sense. So it's the United States, the UK, then Germany, Italy, Australia, in smaller increments. But it's primarily the US and the UK, and I think that's simply because of the language. My audience is mostly male, But if I really want to be positive about that, if it's 97% male, I still have a few thousand women. I'd like to have more, but I understand why that is. And the thing that really pleases me is that when you look at the age demographic, which is very quantifiable on YouTube, the my biggest slide, it's pretty even actually between 25 and 65, but my biggest demographic age-wise is between 24 and 35. Yeah, I mean, I would even take that further in that if you look at Instagram, and Pete Thorne and I have interviewed a lot of guitar players, and he brought Ariana Powell, and she is crazy good, and we're going to have Laurie Basillo next on our channel. The Taylor Swift, she strums and plays along, but the female guitar players that we're seeing now are aggressive, high energy, virtuoso, play anything guitar players, and it's it's definitely a wave that's growing. I mean, they can play anything, and they're here, they're here. Yeah, I was never a musician who was that interested in traveling. I used to do a lot of work with Phil Collins, and the minute I met him, he asked me to go on the road with him. His tour manager did, and I said no immediately. Most musicians didn't take that route because I more valued the laboratory. I always wanted to be in the lab, and my experience with being on the road was that there was so much dead time. I just felt like I wasn't getting anything done. Musicians have it's best case scenario for musicians now as far as travel, because they can literally bring devices that have all their sounds in them and put them on a plane and go play anywhere and just rent a back line. It's easier than ever before to travel with music. But for me, it was always a laboratory, and my studio is a laboratory. I have a big palette, and the film production is the same way. The mobility for me is that my videos reach everywhere in the world. And so it's fantastic. And I do work with session clients who are in other countries, and we do it via Skype or FaceTime. So the mobility for me is the technology, and I can reach anywhere in the world with it. So I do feel lucky about that. The hard thing is that there have been gains and losses with everything that has changed. And I think the idea is to just move forward and find those things that are benefits and pursue them rigorously and aggressively, and come to terms with the losses that we've experienced with digital, the digital revolution. I'm a lot different than other guitar players. I value vintage gear, but I am not obsessed with vintage gear. For me, the best gear is something that's brand new, that is very, very endowed with all the vintage aesthetics. So, and this is what guitar companies and amp companies do now. They take the best vintage elements and they bundle them into their new stuff. Because this is a vintage Gibson, but the reason I bought it is because it has brand new frets. It's been devalued by the improvements that I like, that are brand new improvements. It has an amazing brand new fret job. So I was lucky with this because it plays the way I want it to, because it's been devalued, it's been changed. I love brand new guitars that have all the best vintage properties to them. Same with amps, same with pedals. I was telling a guitar builder today that I actually like guitar necks that are made with what they call a CMC, I think, which is the robot that cuts the neck. I prefer necks that are not made by hand at this point, because there's just certain things I like about the computer making the neck. Yeah, if you get a chance, check out what we're doing on YouTube, check out what we're doing on Instagram, and then if you feel so inclined, if you're a guitar player, I offer a free trial on my website, and you can take a look at it and cancel if you'd like. But I will be building this on a daily basis, inch by inch, doing lots of interviews with other guitar players. I bring the best guitar players I can find, and I feature them. And I do a lot of work with Pete Thorne, and we'll be reaching out as much as we can. And we cover everything. It's gear. We cover the whole universe of, I mean, even some of my YouTube videos are about overcoming the obstacles that are inside us to learning, you know, and the things that you feel bad about that you need to get over to move forward. I have one video about not being afraid to play simply and not being intimidated by the fact that so many people are so much better than you are. That's something that I really try and address, because you should be able to have a musical life without worrying about the fact that somebody else can play twice as fast as you or is twice as brilliant as you. It's not about that. It's about whatever is in here, the message you have inside, and getting it out. And that might be very, very simple. So don't be afraid to be simple.
Wow, this is making the world a better place.
I hope
Sharing
so.
all this experience with the world.
I hope so.
Wonderful.
And I know you are too.
Hey, Tim, thanks
Thank
a lot.
you. All right.
And see you around maybe next year for next year. And NAM. And
I count on it this time.
We'll
Yeah.
do an update.
Yeah, let's do an update.
Okay.
Let's do it again.
Cool.
Okay.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.